Hello and welcome to this presentation of ERwin Data Modeler R9 Workgroup Edition, Nested Libraries. Today we're going to take a look at nested libraries in the Workgroup Edition and the way that these options may be set up. Here we see the ERwin Mart Administrator homepage. We're going to go into Catalog Management. Catalogs are similar to directory structures. They consist of libraries, data models, model versions, and templates. These are displayed in a hierarchical tree. All the features included in the Library Manager and Session Manager modules in previous releases are found here. The first thing to do is expand the Mart, which is the highest level of all of the libraries. Libraries are used to group related models or projects together. As you can see, my libraries are in a life cycle development structure: development, QA, and production. With appropriate security permissions, users may promote or demote models between libraries. For example, if a development model is ready for testing, it may be moved or copied to the QA library and then tested, and if necessary, demoted back to development for further work, or if it meets the requirements, can be promoted into the production library. Here we have a couple of nested libraries. We can see that we have Oracle and SQL Server found here, and then below it another nested library, one for Oracle and one for SQL Server. As you can see, if we expand the model further, if there are versions to that model, you can see all of the versions found. By clicking on a model, over in the catalog details, you can see the description of when this was created, the date and time, and who it was created by. Also, if any notes have been included in the description field, you'll be able to see those here. By right-clicking on a version, you get several options here. You can delete a version if you have security permissions, you can hide a version, or you can mark a version. Marking versions allows you to maintain the current version, yet make a copy, which gives you the ability to enter a unique descriptive name and description. If we click on Mark Version here, we see that version 5 is still retained, but new name version comes up. This is where I can enter text, something such as promoted to QA for testing. So we can make a unique name, we can add a description here, anything that helps the users be able to locate and understand what this model does. At the model level, you can also right mouse click and do a delete, copy, or cut. So if you'd like to copy this model and place a copy into another library or another folder, you may do that. Or you can cut the model completely here as long as you have security permission. You're able also to click and drag models between various folders. And now we see that this has been placed into the Oracle Project 1 folder. Now I can move it back to the SQL Server. So very easy to move these back and forth. I'm going to collapse all of these and create a new library. Depending on where I want to put the library, I click on the folder or at the highest level in the Mart. So if I go into Templates, for example, and click Create Library, you see that it creates a folder nested below Templates. So this gives me a brand new folder to put things in, and of course I can edit the name to the appropriate description here. Once we click Submit, this library update as far as the name and a description will then be applied. Now let's go ahead and minimize this, and let's take a look at the non-administrator's view. So if I minimize the Mart Administrator and I go into ERwin, and now we can log into the Mart, and there are two ways that you can log into the Mart. Number one, you can go into File, Mart, and Connection, and you see all the fields are grayed out until you log in. or you may click the connection button here if you have this toolbar pinned. Either way, it takes you into the connection area where we log in. And now, depending on your security permissions, you will have access to certain things here. Osmond happens to be a modeler and has modeler permissions. There is a separate recording on assigning permissions and creating users at ERwin.com/videos. Okay, the catalog manager is found here in this icon or off the main menu as well. When you open the catalog manager, this allows the user to see all of the libraries, all of the nested libraries, and the versions. So the user is able to get a good look at what the administrator saw. They just cannot make a lot of edits depending on their security permissions. If they have security permissions, they can perform similar actions as the Mart administrator can. One additional feature here also is if you click on a version, if someone has this version out, you can see in the sessions field that perhaps user Terry has this out and he has a lock or no locks on it and what time. So this gives them the ability to see who is working here in the catalog. You still have the feature that allows you to compare versions. For instance, if we want to compare, say, version 6 to version 4, by using the Control-Click option, you see that most of the lights are grayed out up here. But there is one new option that came up called Version Compare. If we click Version Compare, this will load both of these versions and give me the Complete Compare wizard. Once I click Compare, this will bring up the Complete Compare screen, and I can see up here at the top version 6 versus version 4. So I can see what the differences are between these two versions. We'll go ahead and close all of these. And now let's take a look at the Open Model dialog. The Open Model dialog works similar to the previous versions. It looks differently, and I'll point out a couple of things here. If you're looking to open a model, the first thing is you expand the libraries to see which model it is that you're looking for. If I click on the SQL Server folder, we see here are the two models contained in there. If these models have different versions, you can see there's an Open Version dialog here, which allows you then to choose the version you wish to open. By default, it opens the most current version or the last one saved. And now we can get the model open, begin to work on it. When we finish our edits, save it back to the Mart, and a version 8 will then be created. This concludes this video on ERwin Data Modeler R9 Workgroup Edition Nested Libraries. For more of these recordings, please go to ERwin.com/videos, and thank you very much for taking the time to view this today.